Okay, DB besties, if you've ever wanted to make stickers with your Cricut that were so high quality you can literally sell them, this video is for you. In this video, we're gonna go through step by step how to make and sell stickers with your Cricut. We're gonna talk about how to cut them, tips and tricks for maximizing how much you can get on a sheet of paper, how to laminate them to make sure they're durable, how to get a clean cut, and finally, we're gonna talk about some tips for selling them online. So stay tuned till the very end of this video because we are gonna include a little bonus about making sure you sell them appropriately online and increase that average order value. Let's jump right in. Okay friends, so we are starting on the computer today and we're gonna talk about how to find sticker files that are really good for making and selling with your Cricut. All I've done so far is on DesignBundles.net, I have gone and searched stickers. I would recommend selecting to show only Plus products because if you have a Plus membership, this is your way to really maximize your value there. And there are so many good files that are available to you within that. So if you're curious about a Plus membership, definitely check it out. You get access to over 1 million SVG files, including these sticker files that we're gonna talk about today, and lots of other really great deals that go along with it. So check it out for sure. Today we're gonna talk about stickers though. So you can see right off the bat, all of these are included in a Plus membership and there are so many good ones. It usually puts them by what is trending right now, and because we're near Halloween, you're seeing a lot of Halloween designs, but I could narrow this down to something really specific. Like if I wanted 90s themed stickers, you can see that's gonna give me different options. Or if I wanted book themed stickers, you can see that's gonna give me different options. And there's really just a lot to choose from. So what I would recommend doing is spending some time searching around on here and then just clicking the download button for whichever ones you like. Once you get your stickers and the sticker files that you want downloaded from DesignBundles.net, you're gonna go and click the upload button here in Cricut Design Space. You're gonna wanna then go in and upload your sticker files one by one. So you can see that I've got a lot of book style stickers uploaded in mine. That's what I'm gonna be focusing on today, but I would encourage you to find something that you're interested in and just really upload as many as you possibly want into your Cricut Design Space before you move on to the next part of this video. Okay, so once you have them all in Cricut Design Space, the next important thing is really gonna be determining the size of your sticker and also making sure you can fit as many as you possibly can onto an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So we're gonna be using 8.5 by 11 sticker paper today. So we wanna make sure that whatever we design here can fit within that frame. So we're gonna come back and talk about doing that in just a second, but let's take a brief pause and talk about the other materials you're gonna need to complete this project today. Okay, so as you can see, I've kind of already formatted my design to be printed on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, which is what we were talking about before, because that's the size of our sticker paper. However, if you were gonna do this from scratch, here's what I always try to do. You can see here that I create these little squares in Cricut Design Space. This one's a little bit off because I moved it. But this square is 7 by 7.43. You can make it perhaps a little bit bigger than this, but the ability to print and cut on Cricut is less than 8.5 by 11 because there has to be room for registration marks. So I've found that this 7 by 7.43 or right around that realm is a pretty good size to allow it to still cut on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. Let me kind of show you, like if I were to make this bigger, there's 8 by 8.5. Let me hide this little square and this square. And let me just show you what that would look like when I go to print it and you can see what I mean. If I click make it, so here's the bigger one. Here's the one that I made larger and you can see that it's defaulting to a material size of 11.7 by 16.5, which is too big. So we need to drop this down to 8.5 by 11, but you can see it's not even an option for us. And that's because it's too big for the Cricut's print and cut system to print it on that size of paper. But this one, the smaller one, the original size that I was showing you, I can easily select 8.5 by 11 here. And when I do, you can see that's just about as big as I could make it to be able to work on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of sticker paper. If I wanted to make this more into a rectangle, I could probably fit like another row of stickers down below and really maximize my space a little bit more. But for some reason, working within the square just tends to work better for me. And so that's my preference. But if you wanted to play with adding another row down here and seeing if you could still get it to fit on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, that might help you maximize your space even more. So that's kind of how I create this, is I create the square at 7.08 by 7.43. And then I just take my stickers. These are already put together, but let me grab, let's put another one in here and I'll show you kind of what I do. Woo! They usually come in very large, which is actually a great sign. These all came from DesignBundles, and that kind of shows you that they're really good quality, because even blown up that huge, they're still really crisp, which is incredible. But let's say I wanted to make a sticker sheet that had some bigger stickers. So I might take my little skull one here and kind of stick it here. I'm not gonna use that one actually. I might take this one, drop it down, this one down and throw it on here. And then we'll take this one too. Some of these actually need like a backing layer. So we're gonna ignore that for now though, because this is just an example. But let's say I kind of wanted to stick these on here. You can always rearrange the orientation to make space for more, which I want to do. And I could probably fit like another couple small ones in here, but we're not gonna worry about that. So what I would then do, once I have everything placed within the right proportions, constraints, if you will, I'm gonna go hide my square, and then I'm gonna highlight all the stickers that I want to include on that sheet and select to flatten them. So that is just gonna tell Cricut Design Space, yes, this is a print and cut, and we want everything to print just like this. We want it to print exactly like that. We don't want you to move it around. We don't want you to push anything to another page. We want you to do it just like that in that exact same relative space. So those are the steps you need to follow to get a full sticker sheet. And obviously these sticker sheets, I'm gonna go ahead and hide this one because we're not gonna make that one today. But obviously these two sticker sheets are not made to be sold as a sticker sheet. These are going to be sold as individual stickers because I've just kind of got them haphazardly on here. They're not really cute. They're just kind of thrown together to fill the space. But if I was going to sell this as an actual sticker sheet, I might take a little extra time to fill that other row like we talked about, to really make sure they're oriented in a way that's pleasing to the eye, to make sure that I've got more coordination going on, and maybe even to have the Cricut write something at the top that like says Bookish Sticker Sheet 1 or something like that. So keep those things in mind if you plan to sell them as a sticker sheet, but if you're selling them as individual sticker products, you can do what I do here, which is just how many can I cram into the space that I have available and do it like that. So once you have everything placed and ready to go, you are ready to make it. So we're gonna do just one of these today. So I'm gonna hide this one. No, I'm gonna hide this one. So we're gonna do just this guy today, and then we're gonna click Make It. So as you can see, it's defaulting to a larger material size than what we want, but because we know we're in the correct constraints, we're gonna drop it down to 8.5 by 11. And when it does, you can actually even move it more to the center of your paper. I like to do that when it makes a little more sense when it comes to laminating here in a second, but that'll make more sense once we print it. And then we don't have to mirror or anything, so we can just select continue. The first step is actually printing it on your printer. So you're going to want to load your Betkey labels in whatever way your printer actually prints them. I'll show you how I do mine, and then we'll get on with actually printing them. Okay, so with my printer, it is gonna feed from the bottom. I place my labels in with the backing sheet facing up, because it's gonna feed in and then back out the top. But make sure you pay attention to how your printer needs to be loaded so that you can really get, well, so it prints on the right side. So once we've loaded our paper, we're just gonna select Send to Printer here. It's gonna tell you that it's added those registration marks or sensor marks, and that is fine. It's just kind of reminding you to orient everything the correct way. Great, wonderful. Go ahead and hit Next. Make sure your correct printer is selected. And then I always like to deselect to add bleed. People have very personal preferences on this. And honestly, it's just really what you like the best. I don't think that there is a better or a worse. I just prefer not to have the bleed because I think it makes it look a little bit cleaner, but some people really love it. So I would recommend you try both and see what you prefer. I prefer no bleed. And then we're gonna select to print. You can see it's gonna ask you to verify the print quality, but really it should print perfectly. And then when we cut it here on our Cricut in just a couple minutes, we are going to select this medium cardstock setting. We're gonna talk about that for just a second though, because I want to kind of explain to you how you might do this if you were gonna be selling this as a sticker sheet. So here's our print. I think it looks really nice. So that's what it looks like fresh out of the printer. It looks really nice. All we need to do is laminate it before we can cut it here. But I do want to briefly talk about cut settings because we were just talking about doing ours on the medium cardstock setting, which is exactly what you want to do if you want to sell individual stickers, especially if you're going to laminate them because it does add just a little bit of extra thickness. But if I wanted to sell these as a sticker sheet, I wouldn't want the Cricut to cut all the way through the backing. I only want it to cut through the lamination and the front part of the sticker, leaving it so where someone could peel it off of the backing when they're ready to use it. And if that's the case, you're gonna wanna go to Browse All Materials and search Sticky Note. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and bookmark it so I remember that it's there, but the Sticky Note setting is perfect if you wanna do a sticker sheet where it doesn't cut all the way through that backing. But again, we're cutting all the way through today. We're not making a sticker sheet. We are making it individual stickers. So we're gonna select medium cardstock. Okay, we're ready to load this onto our Cricut machine. Okay, let's talk about laminating our sticker sheets. So what you're gonna wanna do is select one piece of your laminating sheet here, or one laminating sheet, I guess would be the better way to say that. The idea here is that we really don't want our laminating sheet to cover our registration marks. When the laminating sheet covers the registration marks, it can make it hard for the Cricut to read the boundaries of each sticker, which can lead to a cut that's less than perfect, which we definitely don't want if we're gonna be selling our stickers. So I'm gonna line up my sheet on 3 of these registration marks here, and then I'm just gonna mark with a pen the edges of those registration marks on the bottom and on the side. Now what we're gonna do is use our straight edge cutter here, open it up, and I'm just gonna cut where I made those marks. So this is gonna allow me, oops, get back in there. I hate when I do this. There we go. All right, this is gonna allow me to kind of cut it down to size so we don't cover up those marks. It only takes a couple extra seconds, but it really makes your cut that much better. So I recommend doing it. All right. Now that we have our laminating sheet cut down to size, we're gonna place it. We're gonna peel the bottom part here. All right, we wanna line it up. It's hard for me to do while I'm filming, clearly. All right, let's get it where it covers everything. Ah, much better. So we're going to make sure it's pressed down really nicely, make sure it covers everything but not the registration marks. And then I'm gonna get a little squeegee, or you can use a credit card for this. Start peeling as flat as you can, but then just take your card. And then just take your card or your squeegee or whatever you're using and kind of flatten it out and make sure there's no bubbles. And there you go. We are ready to put this on a Cricut mat now. All right, so now we're just gonna place our Cricut mat down. We're gonna ignore the fact that I really need to clean it off. It's brand new, so it's been clinging to everything lately. And then we're just gonna place our sticker sheet in the top left corner of our mat, flatten it down, and now it's ready to load into the Cricut. So we're just gonna load it under our guide marks here. Press the flashing load unload button, and we are gonna let it do its thing. You're gonna notice that the Cricut does this thing when it does print then cut, where it seems like it's taking a long time to start your actual cut. And that's just because it's taking time to read those registration marks or those sensor marks. So if you notice it doing this, don't freak out, it's not broken. It's just reading the sensor marks to make sure it can make a clean cut. While our Cricut is doing its cutting, I want to take a minute to talk about a little selling tip, and that is talking about sticker sizing. So today, most of our stickers were between 1.5 and 2 inches in width, which is, actually these are really more like between 1 and 1.5 inches in width, which for a general sticker size is pretty perfect, and it allows you to include a lot per sheet. But be willing to play with your sticker sizes a little bit. Some people use stickers to put on water bottles, which would make this size perfect, but some people just collect them, and others like to put them on their car or on a computer or something else that might require a larger sticker size. So keep that in mind as you're making your stickers. There's not a one size fits all situation here. Okay, so we just took our sticker sheet off of our Cricut. So something that's really important is that you flip it over, peel the mat away from the sticker sheet, not the other way around, because we really don't want any bending or peeling to happen with these stickers. So a lot of times if it's done a good job, or if you have a really sticky mat like I do, you're gonna end up just peeling away the excess. And if they end up staying stuck on your mat like this, I would highly recommend doing either a lot of bending to get it off or using a spatula to get them off. So I'm actually gonna use a spatula. We really don't want these to bend, especially if we're planning to sell them, but we are happy that this is a good clean cut. So, okay, so I've got my little spatula. I'm just gonna start sliding it under there, and they should pop right off. An alternate way you could do this is by bending your Cricut mat again and then just kind of pulling them straight out to prevent that bending. I do like this method. I think it's quicker. It does cause some wear and tear on your Cricut mat though. And if you buy off-brand Cricut mats like I do, just be ready, because one day it will snap. It will snap on you for doing this. So keep that in mind. That being said though, I think these turned out really nice. They're very glossy and so clean. And remember that if you wanted to cut this like a sticker sheet, where the backing stays intact, you would do it on that sticky note setting. So this is how they turned out. I love them. Okay friends, that was making stickers step by step that are worthy of selling online. I promised you a bonus tip at the end, so here it is. Don't forget about bundling. Don't forget about offering discounts for buying multiple stickers. Don't forget about offering these stickers in different sizes to encourage people to buy more than one thing. If we're selling something as inexpensive as stickers, something that should always be top of mind is how to increase your average order value. So think about ways you can introduce themed sticker packs where people can pick their own, or buy 5, get 1 free, or introducing stickers that only come in specific sizes. All of these things can encourage people to add more to their cart, to purchase more, and ultimately to increase that average order value. Well, friends, that was making stickers. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and we will see you next week.